What's going on, y'all? The name is ash.ØK, and this is my hip spotlight. Yeah, this particular project has been about 2 years in the making. There's 13 tracks of all sorts of different genres. Been really blessed and fortunate to work with a ton of different artists and collaborators on this album. Every track is completely different, very different genres. Pretty much taken every type of music I listen to and kind of melded it into this one project. For most of these tracks, I was able to reach out and meet some of these folks. And once they had a chance to hear the track, the instrumental, usually was pretty quick to get them on board. And just working with folks between Philly and outside, a lot of it has been just tag teaming over email. We had a couple working sessions and just tag back and forth until the track is done. Been able to work with Tina Ro, who is a session cellist. She's done stuff with Hans Zimmer. The new Wonder Woman movie, she's the lead cellist on that. Chris Antan, who is Ariana Grande's stage violinist, she was just on tour with her. Done stuff for the Grammys for Justin Bieber. Rebecca Loeb, who is on the title track of this album, she has been on The Voice and she's this phenomenal singer based out of Texas. Local artist Callie, who is a rapper who's been doing stuff with A.R. Rahman, who's a composer, Oscar winner. I have to definitely mention my mix engineer, Jeff Chestak, who is instrumental to this whole project. He won a Grammy for work that he's done for other artists. He's done stuff for Kanye West, for T.I., and Ryan Schwab, he's the mastering engineer on this one. So he's working with Bauer and a bunch of other folks. So these two guys were definitely instrumental in shaping the sound, the final sound of this. Yeah, I mean, the whole list is pretty much track to track. There's somebody that's done something pretty incredible on it. Yeah, it's been very, very cool to be able to work with these folks. A really good friend of mine, she started having a breakdown of sorts. She started going into the fact that she had tried committing suicide twice. Completely caught me off guard. She was someone that, and if you see her on Facebook, she has 1,000 friends. Her Instagram is popping. She's constantly on social media, has this perfect life. At least that's the way it looks. But internally, she was breaking apart. And it was between her and her husband at the time. They just seemed to become very different. Once I heard that, I pretty much went home and just started working on this thing to see how a relationship that seemed so solid could start, falling apart. And it wasn't about cheating or anything that you would typically think. It was just more of self-doubt, of not being able to realize certain dreams. I think that sort of was the catalyst for putting together this album. Every track on it explores a relationship in a different light, in a different aspect of what could basically unravel a person. That was the very first song on the album that came to fruition. Rebecca Loeb, who's the singer on that track, she knocked it out of the park. She was exactly the vibe that I wanted for that track. I worked with the director, Patrick Mason, who's this incredible director based out of West Virginia. And I knew what Patrick had filmed before from some of his other projects fit perfectly with this. So I had the original storyline down and we went back and forth for about 2 months, just basically getting it down to about 3 or 4 minutes. So we flew out to West Virginia. It was about a 3-day shoot. The female lead, she's contemplating suicide through the whole thing. If you see, she's holding imaginary pills in her hand. She finds a gun. She looks at a mirror at herself. So the whole time that she's thinking about, all the woes in her life, he's also going through his own thing, between work and trying to financially survive. So we wanted to put those two, they're not bad people, neither of them are, but they're all basically handling these stresses in a different way. There is, a better ending to it all, but at the same time we wanted to show how their lives were very different. I'm in the video for literally 2 seconds of it, and that was on purpose. I kind of like staying in the background as a producer. In pretty much all my videos I try to do the same thing. Every single video is completely different. I have another one that's set in medieval times. I have one that's a little bit more of a dance video. Just like the tracks on this album, every single one of these has a completely different take and a different genre. All of it's synth, urban based, there's trap music. There's a lot of different influences, but similar to the videos, every one of them captures a very different aspect of a relationship in a very different format. We shot 2 of them with Ife and Bonaho, who's a production team based out in Oregon. So those guys filmed 2 of my videos. I worked with Patrick Mason, as I mentioned. Flew actually to India to film another video. Did 1 video in Philadelphia in this abandoned warehouse that we kind of broke into to film. Yeah, I mean, it's very different. There's no 2 videos that actually match up to each other, but that's sort of the way I wanted it. I don't get fixated on a single type of sound, and that's sort of where my influences come in. So I try to really branch out as much as I can.